Uxbridge. Also And we are live and on the air, and hopefully you can see us and hear us. Should be able to. Well, I'll soon find out here on my monitor. If I can see and hear us, then should be able to see. You should be able to see and hear us too. So welcome everybody, and we'll take a look here and see who is here on the air. Hopefully you can see us and hear us. Okay, that's working fine. All right, that's good. So let's see who has joined us today, shall we? Catherine is here. Yeah, long time no see, Catherine. Yeah, Catherine and I and a few others, we were on Shannon's today. She had a sew along, Shannon from Slay Arts, and it's always fun. Guess who? Nancy is here. Donna. And Nadine, hello, bonsoir, Nadine. And Barb is here, Jeannie's here, hello Jeannie. Gail is here from Ohio. Mona is here from Camano Island Quilt Retreat. Oh, yeah, that's right, saw you earlier, Mona, when Stephanie was connected to us. Stephanie Stitches, of course. Stephanie is in Washington State doing one of her retreats, and earlier we connected with the group through Shannon's live, and it was nice to see everybody, and everybody looked like they're having a wonderful time. Sue is here. Hi, Sue. And Pamela from Minnesota. And there's Stephanie. There you are, Stephanie. And Deb is here. Faith, Janet, Anna. And did I miss anybody? And the other Janet is here too, Janet Lloyd. We have Janet Fraser and Janet Lloyd. And we have Designing Jay is here from, it's Joanna, of course, in Williamsport. What's MD? Maryland. Yeah. So everybody's coming in still. I'm sure a few more people will be joining us as time goes on. So I hope everybody's been having a good weekend, and I hope it hasn't been too hot for you, although I know still in some parts of the United States, it's still cooking with it. So yeah, well, we don't complain about the heat so much here in Canada because 1 month from now, we'll probably be bitching about the cold, maybe. Cheryl's here. And yeah, so
Catherine says, asked if I did shirts. So yes, I do shirts.
Where's that?
She was me. She may have retracted it. I don't know.
Oh, yes. Well, let's talk about what we are sporting today. This is one of Walter's older shirts, and this is his latest creation. My kitty cat in blues and purples and teals, kind of a thing, and with his famous invisible pocket. You cannot see it. It's matched up perfectly on that. Somebody asked or suggested.
This one's not invisible because that was before.
That was one of your older ones. Oh, Philippa is here. She's at the retreat as well. Kathy is watching from Idaho. Nellie is here. Sweet Granny is here. Sewing with Luane is here. Yes, it has been Luane. Nice to see you. Sewing Sensations with Shady Susan. Shady Susan is here. Just a few minutes late. Yeah, we haven't gotten into anything too major yet, so you haven't missed anything. As if there's something to miss. Are shirts difficult? Catherine wants to know.
They're time consuming. I don't know if you consider it difficult. Depends on how much sewing you've done.
I guess it's like
I mean, I followed an instructor with my first shirt, and which happened to be a long sleeve at the time, and it came out okay first time.
Yeah,
but it's a bit of a process.
Yeah, but anything Walter sews for the first time always turns out. He does this all the time. It's like first quilt he ever made. Yeah,
I had a good teacher. Plus, he showed us some tips and tricks.
He's not talking about me. He's talking about his shirt.
Yeah, the shirt teacher that I had. And he showed us some tips and tricks on how to keep things straight, how to keep the stitches straight, and how to, and some cheats on how to fasten the seams down and that so that they stay straight when you stitch them. So,
yeah. So, yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I don't know. I'm trying my hand at making a shirt, but I don't know if I have the patience for this. There's a lot of little fiddly things like
Yeah, like
setting the sleeves you always talk about.
setting the sleeves can be a bit of a pain because the hole is smaller than the sleeve itself, so you have to guide your fabric in carefully so that you don't get any puckers.
Yeah. Any what?
Puckers.
Oh, that's not what I thought you said. I thought you don't get any little. Never mind. Let's see. Some people came in while we were talking here. Del Marie is here. Did I say hello to Gail? Um, she loves the invisible pocket. She's going to try that. Do you have? She wants to know, Walter. Do you have any suggestions on the process?
Well, there's little tips and tricks that you can do, but I mean, I'm not prepared to tell you that
Or
now.
do you mean for making an invisible pocket?
Well, the invisible pocket is you just got to get um, that's a little bit of a process. You just got to get a piece of fabric that matches all around the edges and everything, and then you carefully pin in your pocket and cut the edges of your pocket. You place the pocket and cut the edges of your pocket, and then you match it all up before you sew it on. So
Yeah. Well, yeah.
it is it's a waste of fabric because you got to find a spot that matches in your fabric. So
Yeah, true.
that, and you also have to line it up, which is time consuming. It takes actually that's probably the most time consuming thing on the shirt is to line
Yeah.
up the pocket.
I don't think I'm going to try to sew a shirt. No.
Some
Susan?
people line up the edges of the front as well. It depends on what kind of pattern you're doing. I have not yet done that because that can be very time consuming.
Well, I don't think you've made any out of any patterns where you would need to do that.
Yeah,
I suppose you could do it on this one
yeah, but
like
it's
this,
not that
but
obvious.
the kitties are all off-sided
Yeah,
anyways on in the
I
print.
mean, I suppose if you did a thing that had all these, some people have done ones where they have like postage stamps all the way across the shirt, and so they'll line up the postage stamps so that they're in the exact order when they come across the front of the shirt.
Well, I suppose if you were using something that had a pattern on it that would be very obvious when it's not
Yeah,
lined up, you'd want maybe to do that. I
yeah,
guess the secret there is don't buy fabric for shirts that you would be that obvious.
yeah.
Um, who else is here? Derek's here. Hi, Derek. Scrunchion's here. Persida is here. Now I saw something here. Susan says I used to sew clothes, so I don't think they are that hard. Only because that's what I started doing before quilting. Yeah, you always hear the two things that come out. People who do nothing but quilt go, oh God, I'd never be able to do garment sewing because I wouldn't have the patience for that. That's me. And then people who garment sew have never tried quilting say, oh, they wouldn't be able to stand it because it has to be so precise. In
Yeah,
my
with
way of
garment
thinking,
sewing, there's some
just
leeway.
cut me off
Yeah,
again. Why don't
okay.
you? Just jump right in there with both feet down my throat. Sure. But what was I going to say? I don't know. I forgot. Carry on.
Well, no, you said people that quilt.
Oh, people quilt say that they think garment sewing is. I think garment sewing is more precise than quilting. I mean, yeah, there are pieces that have to be lined up so you don't cut off your points and things like that. I guess, but maybe the word isn't so precise, but forgiving. Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. In quilting, it's not so
Well,
forgiving.
also it depends on how well you want to fit your garment too. That can be quite intense. I haven't done a pair of pants in a while, and I should do a pair of pants again because I have a pattern that's fitted to me. So it may not be fitted to me anymore.
Yeah. So Mozilla says, Deb says, haven't been on for a visit lately. We were chased out by all the smoke and fire surrounding us in the Shuswap in BC. Can you say, no, I can't. Agazes is where we ended up in friend's driveway for a week. Oh, that's too bad, Deb. Hopefully your house is okay though and everything, and you got someplace to go back to. Janet's here. Janet Lloyd says
So
plaids are hard.
yeah, plaids are hard. Yeah.
Yeah, why are plaids hard? I guess because
Well,
you got to
because
match
you got to
them up.
match them
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
and plaids, from the little experience I've had with plaid fabric, they tend to bend when you're
Hmm.
trying to sew them, so they go all wonky, kind of a thing. So yeah, I could see that. Well, I don't want plaid shirts anyway, so I don't care. Susan says, I used to be like that. I didn't think I could ever make a quilt. Yeah, lots of people like that until you do it. Elsie says, I do both. I've done garment sewing all my life, but quilting is so much fun. Yeah, because in my way of thinking too, like Walter's made, like, this is one pattern for
Yeah.
all the shirts. Like that shirt, this shirt, they're the same. The only thing different is the fabric, right?
Hmm.
So after you start making a few of them and you can start to knock them off, like, you
Yeah,
know,
I have a tendency that I like repetitive things.
yeah.
I have always been like that. Like even at work, I always like doing stuff that's really
Well,
repetitive.
yeah, I kind of like things that are repetitive too, as well, up to a point. But then sometimes it gets, I don't know, too much. I do like the variety in quilting though, because there's so many different patterns. And,
Yeah, like I mean, I have thought of doing some of quilt again sometime, but
well, you've
uh,
got a whole kit,
yeah, I know.
and you
So
were talking about the kits I have that you should take a
yeah,
look at them. Well, maybe you should.
yeah.
Hmm? You can take back the kit you gave me that you didn't think you'd ever do.
Yeah,
That
it's a possibility.
Mirage one.
Yeah.
I don't. I have to look at that one to see how
Somebody
complicated
asked
that
us
is.
if we switched to long sleeve shirts at some point.
Oh yeah, I saw
Um,
that.
I, I,
Not right after Labor Day. It
no,
depends.
it depends on when it starts to get cold.
I try to wear short
And
sleeve shirts and shorts for as long as I possibly can before I have
and
to
I
get into it.
find that since I've been retired, I tend to like wearing short sleeves shirts better than long sleeve shirts. But I'll wear a sweater over top of one if it gets cold.
Yeah. But no, I try to wear them for as long as I possibly can with it. Same with shoes. I like not wearing socks and I like my sandals. And as soon as I can put those on in the warm weather, I do. And they're the last thing I change out. You know, I don't be walking through snowdrifts in sandals. You know, never a good thing with open toes. But yeah. Oh, Mozilla says it's near Chilliwack. Remember, Steven? Yes, I remember Chilliwack. We were in Chilliwack.
Okay, I guess it's okay.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, okay, yeah. We remember it was on the map. We went through it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Okay, all right. Memory short. It's good memories, just short. Yeah. Faith says a lot of garment sewers become quilters. That's me. Yeah, I think so. It's another form of sewing, isn't it? So yeah, Lily's here. Hi,
I
Lily.
guess it also depends on what you're doing garments for. Like if you started doing a lot of garments for other people, like not so much Stephen, but I meant for your kids or something. It's sort of like a thing. It's not maybe something that you're doing as a hobby. You're doing it because you need to do it. So
Yeah, if you are doing it though more as a hobby, well, I don't know. So it's like people sew garments out of necessity, right? Like a lot of people when they have were starting a family or whatever, you know, you hear times that, you know, our mothers made, you know, especially for little girls, made their dresses and things like that. And that then is out of necessity. You know, it's an economic thing back in those days. Right now, I don't think it's really going to be cheaper to make kids clothes than to buy them. I don't know. I don't buy kids clothes, but from what I hear, we know that making shirts is not cheap.
no, but I mean, but for us, if we go out and look for shirts off the rack, first of all, we tend to be a little bit more robust in size.
Excuse
So
me.
so a lot of the shirts that they sell
I
these
still
days,
have the slimness
a
of
lot of the
a
shirts
16
they
year old
sell
girl.
these
Ignore
days
me.
in the
Yeah,
stores
ignore me.
are
I'm slim. I'm
yeah,
trying.
yeah, are tend to have a slim fit, and so that's a problem. And the other thing is that a lot of the patterns are really boring. You know you get stripes and checks and not much else. So
Every
I think it's kind of fun sewing them because I can get patterns that are different than what's off the rack.
When you mean patterns in fabric, not
Yeah,
sewing patterns.
no, not sewing patterns, but the fabric's fun to work with.
Yeah, and that's why every time we go out somewhere, it happened yesterday. The people say, "Oh, I really love your shirts." Yeah, because you don't see these kind of things in a shirt. Men's shirts are boring.
You mean in a store or
Yeah, in
something?
a
Yeah,
store. What I mean, commercially made shirts. You
yeah.
don't see too many really. I mean, okay, you see a Hawaiian shirt every now and then, but you know that's kind of limited as to where you're going to wear that, unless you're in Hawaii. But you know, it stands out. Oh, I really love your shirts. Love that all the time. And I always say, yes, this is my tailor right here. I'm just the model because we all play to our talents, don't we? my talent is beauty.
So yeah, so actually, even though the pattern's the same,
right off. Yeah, never mind.
It's fun working with different patterned fabric and stuff.
Yeah, let's see who's here. There's Lucy's here. Hi, Lucy. I saw Heidi came in. Hello, Heidi. Did I say hello to Elsie? I don't know if I did. Diana's here. Hi, Diana. Melissa is here. Julia.
Actually, it depends on
anybody.
Your cost of your shirt really depends on where you're shopping. If you're shopping for shirts at Walmart, yeah, these are more expensive. But if you're shopping for shirts at a high-end store, then you'll find these are cheaper.
Yeah. Lucy says patchwork is repetitive. Yes, it is. I mean, but you can make some very complex blocks, and depending on the variety of blocks that you have in a quilt, that's what keeps me interested. Yeah, if I'm doing a quilt that's like all half square triangles, they're all the same in every row, it's like, yeah, that's sweatshop stuff, just chain piece it, chain piece it, chain piece it, and the whole bit. And I do get a little bored with something like that. So I usually look for patterns that are a little bit more, have more variety in them. That's what I like about sampler quilts, because they can have like that one everybody was doing, and I started and I've done one block. That farm, was it Barnstar, whatever quilt pattern, you know what I mean? It's all the rage at one point in time there, and I will get around to that again because I like the variety in it. But yeah, so let's see what else people say. Mozelle says she's home, but they could change again with high temps here. Elsie says, I'm with you, Walter. I made the same shirt pattern over and over, changing or hacking it depending on my need. Melissa owns one pair of pants. I wear shorts unless it's below 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Where are you located, Melissa? Yeah, we'd like to do that all year round too, but not in this country. Julia says, these fires are no joke. Remembered you were on today, so thought you might relieve some of my stress. At Fort Johnson in Louisiana, send some rain. Yeah, I know. It's really bad. I really feel for people who are having to go through this. I mean, knock wood, we've been very lucky in Southern Ontario. And in fact, we missed the smoke that was coming from the Northern Ontario fires that we had here when we were out west. That was when everybody was in New York was getting it from us and everything like that. Toronto was bad, the whole bit. We missed it all.
Yeah, so we didn't experience it.
No, which is fine. I don't need to. Kathy says anymore you can buy clothes much cheaper than you can sew them.
Like I said, it really depends on where you shop, and it depends on what
Neiman Marcus.
Well, Neiman Marcus. No, what's the one that was in
or Nordstrom's?
Nordstrom's,
yeah.
Yeah, go buy $1,000 shirt at Nordstrom's.
Yeah, really.
These aren't $1,000,
and it doesn't mean it's any better made.
No,
and it doesn't even mean like it's still probably made in China or Vietnam or someplace in India or something like that. Anyways. And it doesn't necessarily mean that something that comes from those countries is bad quality either. I mean, that was the old way of thinking, when things that were made in China or Japan or something way back, 50 years ago, the idea was it was cheap. Well, today, it's major manufacturers of the big name labels, and they're going over there because it is cheap labor is what they're getting for all of that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the product is. So
yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. Oh, never mind. I'm just looking here, trying to catch up. Shannon finally shut her live down, needed a break. Yeah, she was talking about before. She was kind of exhausted because she'd been off to a quilt thing too, a day before or whatever, and 8 hours is a long time. I mean, I don't do 8 hour long, or do I? Well, I guess when I do a pop-up sew day, they're pretty much about 8 hours or something like that too. And but I'm exhausted by the end of one of those too. So I definitely know what she's going through. I'm even more tired after I do one of my retreats, because I'm constantly, I'm not doing any sewing in those because I'm doing all the behind the scenes stuff and making sure everything's running smoothly, and who's up next and everything for the guest speakers and that kind of thing. So yeah, it is. It's not an easy thing to do a Zoom, if you're the moderator of it, setting it up. So yeah, she needs to have a little rest. Um, Glenn is here. Hi, Glenna and Heather. Elsie says, I run a ministry for my community. I fix people's garments to fit better for any donation. Love using the skill I've developed to help others. Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's nice.
Anne's here. Hi, Anne. Lucy says she enjoys improv patchwork. I do too, to a point. I gotta be in the right mind for it. And, and the best way to handle improv is basically not worry about it. Just do it. That's what I find. Just throw all the rules out the window. Just start sewing pieces together. I like to do it with orphan blocks. I keep my orphan blocks, and when I get enough of them, I'll start trying to piece them all together. Oh, Melissa's in Georgia. Okay. Elsie says, yes, the fires affected us here in upstate New York. Yeah, well, the smoke's all going down as well, and then fires are everywhere. Derek says, I was in the supermarket today, and you can see the very optimistic Scottish people pretending that it's still summer despite it being 14 Celsius and rain. Most of the guys were in shorts. Oh,
yeah, well, we do that here too.
Yeah, we do that too.
When it gets cool out. Like right now, we're still at 22°C, so. But when it gets down to 14, it's fairly easy to say, okay, I don't care. It's cold out.
Yeah. Well, you'll see people here in February wearing shorts out in the street. If we get a warm couple of days in a row
that are sunny out,
like sort of a spring thaw, you'll see them out there.
It might be 5 degrees Celsius, but it's...
And, that's fine. I don't care. It's up to them. If that's what they want to do, there's no rules. It's just a matter of how hot-blooded you are, I guess, or cold-blooded, I don't know, whichever one. If you don't feel the cold.
I mean, ladies are still wearing dresses in cold weather.
Yeah, so. That's true. Yeah, think about that. Yeah. Women wear in wintertime, the deepest, darkest winter, they're going out someplace, they might be wearing a skirt or a dress a whole bit. Like, that's got to be cold on the legs. Whatever. Oh, M's here. Hi, Em. He just finished clubbing.
Who were you clubbing?
Yeah, was it a baby seal? No, we don't do that in this country. Adam's here. Hi, Adam. Hi, boys. Just whizzing by and want to drop in and check you're both as fabulous as always. Of course we're fabulous, Adam. You're fabulous. We're all fabulous with it. Oh, Adam, though, you'd probably curse me. I was working on some gnomes on my embroidery machine, making a gnome table runner for somebody for a Christmas present, and I was looking around for fat quarter bundles that I had, and I found a Tula Pink fat quarter bundle that I don't ever remember buying, because unlike you, Adam, I'm not a fan of Tula Pink. So I'm making gnomes out of the Tula Pink, and actually they're cute. They are cute. I'll be showing them on Idiot Quilter next week, some of them. But anyways, Janice is here. Hi, Janice. Woolly tights. Lucy says woolly tights. Okay. No. Oh, Heidi says it's definitely cold on the whatever. Do you have a diagram? Elsie says, I'm impatient with patchwork that doesn't come from a pattern. Have no creativity yet. As I grow in confidence, maybe I will enjoy creative patchwork. Well, you want to know something? I have the same problem. I get these ideas and start working on them, and then I talk myself out of it. I go, I don't like this. I'd rather work with a pattern. So, yeah. Sometimes the mood hits you, sometimes not. Hi, Brenda. So, yeah. Anyways, that's sewing. Let us move on to something else. So, reminders, okay? And I forgot to ask Shannon today when she's planning to have her next sew-along. I think she's got something planned for September, but stay tuned to her channel to find out. And, of course, we have Sewing with Stephanie and Steven, as usual, this Wednesday. You know the drill. Stuff's in the show notes. You can check that out. So, let's talk about our new window replacement. Yes, it's all that. No, it's not.
They came to replace it on Thursday. And then I noticed the guys, first of all, the guy showed up, this is from the manufacturer, without having ladders. to put it in.
Yeah.
It's a window above our doors, right? So he says, "Oh, do you have any ladders?"
Like,
So luckily I have ladders,
right
but
then the warning bells went off in my head.
yeah. So anyway, so they were measuring and remeasuring the window and all this other stuff, and I thought, "Uh-oh, this doesn't look good." They're measuring a lot. Then they got the template out, and they were redoing the template, and then the guy turns around to me and says, "Yeah, we measured the window and it's too big. We have to take it back."
Oh, you know, we started this whole process last fall. Actually, officially, I guess January, because we were getting like the Windows seal isn't proper. We're getting condensation in between the layers and the whole bit. That's why we got rid of the old window, because we're having that problem and want new window. And then they're telling us, yeah, they had to order it, okay. And then they told us, well, yeah, but also they can't put it in at that time of the year because it's too cold. Okay, got that and everything. Then we find out come June that they needed to come out and do measurements, but they told us it had been ordered. So obviously it had not. And so they came out and did their template, made their measurements and everything. And then it still took them what? Another couple of weeks before the order went in?
Yeah, and then finally it now has come in, right? And actually, I was told 2 weeks ago that the word from the factory was it was coming in next week, and that they would call us. Well, it took them 2 weeks to call us, and then they another week to come and put it in last Thursday, and then it turns out it's big.
Too big. And I knew it wasn't going to go well. I just had a feeling, because they're idiots. And they're playing a little game here with us as well. And this company, I would not, well, it's hard not to deal with them because, and we're not dealing with them directly in a way. This is still the responsibility, as far as I'm concerned, of the people that got our money for this, Aurora. And they're in the loop and they're supposedly doing things, but I'm not impressed with what they've done or how little they've done. So the latest on it now is, well, yeah, they have to order the window, like Walter said, because they made it too big. But it's going to be ready for them to install next week.
Well, that's what customer service is saying. And customer service has lied to me before. They've lied to me about ordering the window in the first place and all this other stuff. This is a big window. This is a great big huge 60 transom. It's a transom. It's a half circle.
It's a 180-degree window.
Yeah, and half circle over, so it's like 60 feet radius, half circle. So anyway, and it's a heavy window. It's stained glass wedged into between two panes of other glass, and basically it's sealed, and the oxygen is sucked out of it and replaced with argon gas.
Yeah.
Right? So, and if there's a leak in that seal, then it'll begin to fog up, and that's what was happening.
Yeah. So not good. Especially, this was not a cheap window either. This is thousands upon thousands of dollars, okay? Like, it cost us $18,000 for 2 double doors at the front of the house replaced.
No, it didn't. It cost us $12,000 for 2 double doors and a window. And
then the other, if you'd let me finish, we had 4 new windows put in. We had double doors and we had the transom window. Right. The total bill was $18,000.
Yes,
for that. That's correct. The majority of that bill was for the 2 double doors and this transom.
Yeah, exactly.
There are days, and this is one of them. Anyways, so we got on the blower to Sophia, who's the representative. Actually, they're a family-owned business in our area, and she is the daughter of the owner, and she does all the stuff, and everything. And we talked to the receptionist, or whatever she is first, Zila. And Zila was kind of surprised that this was happening too. And so then she said, I will get a message to Sophia. She'll call you and the whole bit. Well, Sophia did. So Sophia was going off to choke them or something. We'll see how effective that is. But there is no way. If the window, if they phone up and say they're going to come one day next week and install the window. They have it. And if it gets all installed and everything is fine with it and that, well, you'll be able to knock me over with a feather, because I don't believe any of that's going to happen. And not on top of all of that, and not to borrow more trouble from the situation, but okay, so once they get this new window in, whenever that will be, and the whole bit, what happens when one morning we wake up in November or December and we look up and see, oh my God, the window is leaking again? What do we do then? I know what I'm going to do. I've already got it figured out. I'll be phoning up my lawyer at that point, and I will be naming Aurora Windows, the company that had got our money for this, and they're the ones that deal with this other company that they kind of slopped off onto us to deal with. And yeah, and you know, at that point, I don't care how much it costs me for the lawyer, because I want blood then. Hopefully it doesn't have to go to that, but I don't have a whole lot of faith in this. I really don't. And meanwhile, we'll get on to consumer affairs or whatever we've got here, and on the internet and the whole bit. And both companies are going to get bad mouth. And when I say bad mouth, we'll just tell everybody exactly what happened with it all. So yeah, we'll put it on Twitter or X, whatever they call it now. That seems to work very well at times for this kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a thrilling day, but I was not surprised. And the best part of the whole thing, well, not the best part, I don't want to sound like a racist, but the guy who was, the two guys that came, one was of Indian descent, I would say. I said to them, okay, look, you guys show up here without a ladder, for one thing. Didn't give me a good feeling. Second of all, you're the guys that measured this window originally, one half of them in the whole bit, and now you're saying that the measurements are wrong. I said, I don't know how much of this is really your fault and how much is the fault of the manufacturer of the glass, but I said, I'm just letting you know what kind of hell we're going through here. And he smiled all the way through it. And I said, I see you're smiling about this. I said, I'm smiling too as I'm talking to you, but this is not a happy smile. This is a smile that says, I want to kill somebody right now. So anyways, we'll see what happens. Okay, what are people saying here? Trying to catch up. Adam says, ooh, they sound fab. I'm going down a Liberty wormhole at the moment. Oh, guess what? Adam has a new craze, the Liberty fabrics. I have to admit, I do like Liberty fabrics too.
Yeah, Liberty fabrics are expensive.
Yeah, very expensive. Stephanie says, Adam, you would have been in heaven at the quilt shop up here. Tons of Tula. Oh, yeah, but tons of fabric, period. If you haven't seen Stephanie's Saturday night video she put up of her retreat, and she shows this fabric, and it's overwhelming, the amount that's in there. I just can't believe how much fabric, and I can't believe how you find anything you want either, because it is piled literally to the rafters. Literally, you have to see. If you haven't seen that video, you've got to go and see Stephanie's video of that. Adam says, Stephanie, I just had some vintage Tula arrive from the US and Germany. He's on a self-imposed ban this month. Right.
The only good thing about the window was that they didn't uninstall the original window, because then we would have been without a window installed in there.
Yeah, I really don't want to go for a year with a piece of plywood over this part, so that was a good thing. Barb says, I'd be totally pissed about the window. Yeah, I am totally pissed about the window. Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be getting me anywhere. Lucy says, I won't go into details, but we've been delayed by a year for windows and doors. We're still waiting to get back into our refurbished house. Oh, back into your house? Oh, geez. Lucy says, boys, you're bickering. We do it all the time, Lucy. Suck it up. Sedative for Stephen. I've got a sedative right here. Oh, nurse. Welcome to Sit Down Comedy Show with Stephen and Walter. Yeah, it's not really a comedy. Colleen says, I think they see. Oh, hi, Colleen. I didn't see you come in. I think they see the dollars and that's all. Oh, of course they do.
Yeah, nowadays it seems like everybody's willing to take your money, but you're not getting any kind of service back. So,
Yeah. Catherine says, do you have any news from Yellowknife?
nope, I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything.
New.
What's going on up there?
Maybe somebody that lives closer to that area knows.
Yeah. Kathy says, must be a Canadian thing. We never have those troubles in the States. Yeah, wink, wink, say no more, say no more. Lucy has a drawer full of Liberty Tana lawn.
Yeah.
Hi, Dale.
That's nice fabric. It's very silky.
Hi, Cheryl. Yeah. Yeah. It's nice fabric. I have a little bundle of it that I bought, oh geez, back, was it last year when we went up to where we usually go to do fabric shopping, and we went to the K Facet store. What was that one in Mary's, St. Mary's? And I bought a bundle of Liberty, and I don't know what to do with it yet.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've looked at some of the Liberty fabrics, but I haven't really seen any patterns. There are only a few patterns that I've seen that I kind of liked. Because actually, I wouldn't mind trying to get some and work with it, because it is a very nice fine cotton, especially the Tana lawn.
Yeah, but it is pricey. Yeah, very pricey. And I don't know if that's because of the quality of it, or also because it comes from the UK, and by the time they get it here. Although from what I'm hearing from Adam and other people who live in the UK, it's expensive there as well.
Yeah, well, so you can go on to, I think, Liberty of London online and order it directly from England.
Yeah.
You can here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can order it. And it's expensive, yeah.
Yeah, I know it is. So let's just look at some of the comments that came up this week. This was a question from Kathy. She says, beautiful shirts, guys. Where did Walter learn to sew like that?
Well, basically, there's a guy that I know that started making men's clothes himself, because he wanted to, he got a sewing machine and he wanted to learn how to make his own clothes. So he had taken some courses at various places, including from Ron Collins, who's a fairly well-known garment maker in Canada. And he had started making a few clothes himself. And then other women he was sewing with were saying, oh, we'd really like to make shirts for our husbands and things like that. Can you teach a class? So he decided to teach a class, and I got in on that class. And the class was being held just before the pandemic started in March of 2020. So we went to 2 classes with him to make a long sleeve shirt. And then the pandemic happened, and we stopped sewing with him. But then about a month went by, and he said, well, how about if we try and do this via Zoom? So we started doing the classes via Zoom. All through the pandemic, we sewed a long sleeve shirt. We started doing short sleeve shirts. We did pants. We did shorts. We did a jacket. We did a jeans jacket. We did all kinds of stuff all through the pandemic on Zoom. So he was sort of leading the class, and I was following along type of thing, and sort of developed my skills doing that through him, and getting an idea of how to do different various projects and stuff like that. So that's basically how I learned how to sew.
But you were sewing way before shirts, not regularly, but you made curtains.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I did sewing as an as needed basis when I was younger. Like I mean, when I was a little kid, I used to play around with sewing machine when my mom was sewing. And then my sisters both sewed. And when I moved into my first house, my sister sewed some curtains for me. And I sort of had a look at what she did. They were just basic rod pocket curtains. And then we moved in together, and I sewed some rod pocket curtains for that. And I borrowed my mom's machine, and I recovered some chairs.
But then you made the balloons.
And then when we moved into this house, balloon curtains were fashionable. So I got a pattern book and I made balloon curtains from the pattern book based on, yeah, I just followed the book. I didn't
Used to make
have any
costumes
class.
too, though, when we go
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Halloween and that.
and I would make costumes for Halloween and stuff like that, but I didn't have any patterns. I just sort of
Winged it.
winged it.
Yeah. I said to him, we were going as Mickey and Minnie Mouse. I said, if I'm going as Minnie Mouse, I want a dress that's got an empire waist and cap sleeves. Like I just
I
said that
tend to
because I didn't
be a
know what they
little.
were.
I tend to be
But that's what he
very,
made.
very visual, and I think of how to do things. So that's all I did. So
Yeah, well, I couldn't do that. Not in fabric or in clothing or sewing like that. But
but the shirts have been the more precise stuff that I've been making with the sewing and that, and getting used to getting your stitches straight and everything else. And I've gotten quite accustomed to doing that, and that's how I do it.
yeah, that's what he does. So, anyways, just before I forgot to show you latest projects here, but this I've been working on for a while, but I finished the top. This is a Christmas quilt right here. Now, somebody in the comments asked me this week what the name of the pattern was and who the designer was. I did say that in Idiot Quilter this week, but I'll say it again. I sent that person a private message anyway, so let them or answer their comment. But this is, so everybody listen, this is a pattern by Chelsea Stratton. Chelsea Stratton is has a YouTube channel with her mother. Her mother is shoot, McDougal. Can't think of her first name. Sue, not Sue. Anyways, their YouTube channel is called A Quilting Life. And I have done some of Chelsea's patterns before because she writes very good patterns. And this particular pattern is called Regal Pines, and it's available at her Etsy store. So if you do a search for Chelsea Stratton or for Regal Pines pattern, you'll find it. And they didn't make it in Christmas fabric. I decided to go with it as a Christmas thing because to me it screamed Christmas. So this is just the top. I need to quilt it. I've got my backing fabric for it already, and I know what kind of design I want to do on it. I just got to get it on Lucy. But what I want to show you is what this is hanging on, because this is a new acquisition. I bought a frame from Amazon. It's meant for backdrops and things like that, but I usually take pictures of my quilts on that carpet that you see below, and they always get a little skewed. So I investigated this. I was a little hesitant because I was afraid that it might be kind of flimsy. It cost me like about $75. It says it'll hold 11 pounds. I'm a little afraid that this bar at the top will, with something a little heavier, will sag more. I mean, even in this picture, it looks like it's sagging, and it is a little bit with it. It is steel. But anyways, I got that. It'll make taking pictures of my quilts and that I want to show you so much easier with it. So for 75 bucks, you get what you pay for. It'll work. It'll do with that. You can always use it as a temporary design wall too. Like I think it was Dana who suggested to me that she has one, and she says they're great. You take them to, because they'll all collapse up, they fold up, and put a flannel sheet on it, and you've got a design wall kind of a deal, which is an idea in itself. But I thought I would show that to you before we went too much further. Let me get out of this and go back over here. Okay, where's the bloody? Okay, and let's see. Just see what people are saying. Oh, Lucy says it's a big step from curtains to shirts. I don't know, on Carol Burnett in her famous Southern Belle outfit. Oh, this whole thing, I saw it in the window and just simply had to have it. You know, she made her dress out of curtains. Everybody knows that. That's a classic. Hi, hello, Shannon.
Well, actually, Lucy, there was a couple of quilts in between that in before I did shirts too. So
yeah, that's true. Thank you for the comments about the quilt. That's the name, Sherry McConnell. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Senior moment. Thank you for that, Janice. Or was it Janice? Sue.
So,
It was Sue. Um, Derek really likes the Christmas tree quilt. I can see that. If you change the fabric selection, it would still make a really nice all year round quilt. Yeah. And they use their own line of fabric for it. I don't like their line of fabric. It's too washed out for
too
me.
pastel-y.
It's too pastel. Yeah. I mean, it's nice fabric design that they have. It's just the colors to me are I don't like pastel like colors. Um, yes, I love their channel too, Elsie. Oh, Connie's here. Hi, Connie. Love the quilt. My wife and I are from Tampa, Florida. Enjoy all your shirts. Okay, well, thank you, Connie. Um, Teresa's here. Hi, Teresa. I have one and use it with a sheet as my design wall. Much easier than coat hangers hanging off the wardrobe. Yeah, it would be. Are you going to put a link for the quilt rack? I will be talking about that, and we'll have a link for it from Amazon on Idiot Quilter on Tuesday. So yes, I will. Not easy to find because I don't know what they called them. I was putting in all kinds of things, and it turns out it's called, if you go searching for them, look for things called backdrop display stands or backdrop stands, something like that. I was putting in all kinds of things, trying to think what I could come up with, and of course, I was getting things that were everything from tripods for cameras to, display stands for business cards and brochures and stuff like that. So I finally hit upon the right combination. Um, Catherine says Yellowknife evacuated the whole town due to fire.
Yeah, because I think there was really only one road that went into Yellowknife, so they had to, um, they if the fire was crossing the road or whatever,
Yeah.
so they had to get everybody out.
And Yellowknife, they said on the news too, is more used to being the place where they evacuate people from, too, instead of them being evacuated. So yeah,
Yeah, like I mean, if there's a fire north of Yellowknife or something like that, normally they would evacuate people from town's northern area into Yellowknife, and now Yellowknife itself had to be evacuated.
yeah. So yeah, it's not a good situation. Oh yeah, Sweet Granny's asking Stephanie, was the fabric in the store discount or regular price? Yeah, I want to know too, Stephanie, how much is the regular price for their fabric there? I'm sure they probably gave your group some sort of a discount from the group from the retreat kind of a deal. But I'm just curious how much it is a yard. I guess it would be a yard because it's American for it because they had an awful lot of it. That's for sure. Uh, oh, Luann is checked. Amazon has a whole mess of backdrop stands matching what you have. Yeah. Once I found out what they were called, yeah, they have a ton of them. But that was the hard part. I kept reading the reviews on them and the whole bit. They were all within the same price range. And what I was afraid of is I was going to get something that was going to be really flimsy. And when I put a quilt on it, a finished quilt on it, it's just all going to like snap in two or hang down like floor. Now, I haven't tried yet putting a finished quilt on it because that's heavier than just the top. But it does say that it'll hold up to 11 pounds. Well, none of my quilts are 11 pounds in weight, so hopefully it will be okay. We shall
We
see.
may have to try and strengthen that bar.
May have to, yeah. We'll see about that. I was thinking if you got a bar of steel that was slightly smaller in diameter than what's already there and shoved it in, like just in between, it might be.
It could, or yeah, like that steel that they use, or you can get more solid piece of steel. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that steel that's actually in it is pretty solid.
Mm.
It's pretty heavy. It's the heaviest part of the whole thing. So I don't know. We'll see. Um, Anna says, looks like you could build something like that from PVC pipes used to build them to hold soccer teams banners. Yeah, I'm sure you probably could.
Yeah, I know you
But I
probably
can't.
could, but I mean, probably by the time you paid for all the PVC pipes and everything else, probably cost you about the same amount as one of those stands. So
Yeah, Cheryl says they had a discount area, but other fabrics, $11 to $13.50 a yard. Well, not a bargain, because once we do the exchange on that in Canadian, that's about what we pay. So, for it. So anyways, about the same. But there was quite a selection. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out. Believe me. Um, anyways, so Val Martinez said she loved the kitty shirt. I used one of those backdrop hangers like you bought. It works great for me. I bought a bag of those round rings that have a metal clip on the end. I clip them along the top of the quilt and then string it on the bar. And that's exactly what I did as well. I have a whole pile of those rings that she's talking about, and they seem to work good for that. It came with 4 clamps, but the clamps are actually meant if you were using a backdrop or a banner or something, and you wrap the banner top around the barn and just put these clamps on top of it, which doesn't work quite as well with a quilt. And as I said, I think it was Dana, she said that she uses a similar backdrop at retreats, puts a flannel sheet on it, the design wall. And then off the topic of the stand, but somebody was picking up where we did the comparison of the new Janome sewing machines on So Chatty. She said, my understanding of the differences between the M7 and the M7QCS are the way the machine looks and extra quilting accessories, what comes with the M7QCS. So I guess what she's saying there is that there are more quilting accessories with the M7QCS than with the M7 itself, which could be. We could not find a listing of what exactly came with it.
What was kind of stupid about the Janome listing is that they had the M7 stuff and all their accessories listed on the M7 on the website. But then when you looked at the QCS, it looked like it had less accessories.
Yeah.
Based on what they did. But I know that Janome tends not to be very consistent when they put their write-ups. So there is a very good chance that it actually comes with more stuff. And the only way you would know that is if you went and talked to your dealer and find out exactly what it comes with.
Yeah, you'd have to
because it is priced at a higher price than the M7.
Yeah. So, anyways, stay tuned kind of a thing as these things get released, because they really haven't, as far as we know, they're not really making an official release of these new machines until October.
Yeah, we've been to our quilt store last little while, but not when the owner's been there. And the owner would know probably what's
she would
coming
probably know what's happening with all of that too. So, not that I'm going to buy one, because I'm not.
But it would be interesting to ask her, okay, what's the difference between the M7 and the M7 QCS or whatever?
Yeah, it would be. So anyways, so those were the comments for this week. So we went out on a little excursion yesterday. We went up to a place that's north of us, about half an hour drive from us, called Uxbridge. Small little community, because they were having their Pride.
Pride.
Their first gay Pride. So we thought we'd go and check it out. It was in their local park. Oh my God. We were there 5 minutes, and that was probably 3 minutes too long. In there was nothing. There was some guy when we got there standing in this little tiny band shell area that they had. And I mean, it is tiny. Kind of 3 crates on a board, or a board on 3 crates. And he was talking about other events they'd had this past year. Okay.
Well, see, this was the first event we happened to stumble across.
Yeah.
That they were having this event.
So we thought we'd check it out. Well, we also thought, Walter says, well, we went up around, we were just after lunch, and he says, well, they probably have like somebody selling hamburgers and hot dogs or something up there, vendors or whatever. So we could just, have that when we go up. No. We could have had a mango salad, though. Nothing says dyke food like a mango salad. Like, those girls don't eat fruit. Okay. And
no, there was ladies selling this mango salad, and it was health conscious type, gluten-free type stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we were just sort of looking for a hamburger.
And we could have got our face painted. There's some...
Because they had some family events.
Yeah.
And... but see, the thing is, when I looked at the listing, it said that they were having this event from 10 to 3, but it didn't really give a lot of details as to what was going to be at this event.
Well, now we know why there weren't a lot of details, because there wasn't much at this event. And then, so this was running from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, and from 4 in the afternoon to 7 that evening at one of the local pubs in this town, they were having a free drag show. But the pub that they were having at didn't serve food.
It was a brew pub.
It was a brew pub.
So you could have, like
you get
bags of pretzels or bags of chips
and lots of beer.
Whatever, and beer.
Well, some drag queens do look better after a couple of beers. Believe me, they become much more entertaining. But
so for their first event, I don't know, it wasn't very
no, it wasn't really well attended.
Well, see, the problem is too here. Uxbridge is within a region in our area called Durham Region. Durham Region encompasses a bunch of cities, and Durham Region, it has its own pride, usually in June.
Yeah.
And so they did that, but I guess this was an offshoot group that wanted to do their own thing.
North Durham.
North Durham. So
yeah, they were doing their own thing. Well, bully for them. They were trying. They had shuttles. You could take a shuttle from one of the town next door to us all the way up there. And I think, well, the highlight of that would be taking the shuttle, because you would have been trapped. I don't know how often the shuttles were running, but you're going, oh, God.
But to give it credit, these things are difficult to organize.
And that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about, because I think this is in microcosm, this is a little bit more of an indication of where we are going from. And this dovetails onto one of the questions. We had a really nice email from a new subscriber said how much she appreciated our videos and everything. And, it was a very, very nice email. And not to criticize this person, because she did write this very nice email and everything like that, but she used a term that I've heard other people use about the gay community. And they refer to our lives as a lifestyle. And I have some reservations about using that word to characterize or in reference to gay life. It's not a lifestyle. It is no more a lifestyle than, well, you don't hear people walking up to straight people and saying, oh, you're straight lifestyle. I mean, if someone did that to a straight couple or to a straight person, I'm sure they would look at them and go, what do you mean lifestyle? It's just life. That's the way I look at it. It's just our life. That's all it is to it. So I know this person was not using that term in a derogatory sense. I don't think anybody uses it necessarily in a derogatory sense. It's just, it would suggest that there was decisions made for this, meaning that we decided one day, yeah, I'm looking at a selection of different types of lifestyles, and I think I'll take the gay one. Thank you. Not marked that way. No. But anyways, so that got me thinking about what we experienced up in Uxbridge, and then this comment that was made in the whole bit about, so what's happening with the gay world? Back many years ago, Pride Parade in Toronto and in other areas, huge thing. It's still a huge thing in Toronto, but it has changed over the years. There are many communities that used to have gay organizations within their community. There's not a lot of those left anymore. There's two ways to look at that. No, being gay is not something that was just a trend and now it's not in fashion anymore and it's gone out. No, if anything, it's the opposite. It has become too much of the fashion. Watch television programs on whatever you watch your television programs on. And I will guarantee you there's going to be at least one character, if not two, that are gay or lesbian or non-binary or transgendered. And they're written into the script And they'll either be in an intimate romantic moment, or they'll be something else. They may even be the butt of some jokes, although most people that, or most of the writers, ones that are working, try to be very careful with making it a joke, because that's offensive, apparently. Um, so yeah, but it's like it's become the norm. The norm. Now, here's the double-edged sword on this. As gay, as members of the gay community, we have been part of the fight for recognition in mainstream society. That's been going on for years. I mean, we've had the marches, we've had the whole AIDS epidemic, all that kind of stuff. Act Up, and then of course there's been a push for education, like formal education into alternative. They want to use the word. I don't like that word either. Alternative. And that may be where lifestyle comes in as a derogatory term. Alternative lifestyles, that kind of thing. And put it into schools, and we know about the controversy with that. I mean, it right down to drag queens reading in libraries to children, books and stuff like that. But we fought to become part of the mainstream world. Guess it worked. We pretty much are. According to the media, now there's no hiding. They used to be, back in the 90s, the 80s television shows, if there was a character that was a suggestion of them being somewhat gay, it was either the brunt of a joke, or it was sort of done in the closet, kind of clandestine. There'd be just sort of implied, few words that implied that maybe this character was, possibly gay, but they wouldn't come right out and say it. Now, they've got them in lip locks and more things. I don't really agree with that, but I don't agree with that in the straight world either. I don't think we need to see I mean, I've been watching this program that's a little old now, but it was for 3 seasons, called Versailles. Oh my God. Well, let's update it. That show that was very popular. They've had 2 seasons of it. Done in not Victorian England, possibly Jane Austen, Georgian England kind of a thing. What was that called? Everybody knows what it was. It was very popular.
Downton Abbey?
Not Downton Abbey.
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. All right. Whoa. Okay. There's a lot of sex going on in that. And in this Versailles, even more. Holy crap. And I really don't understand how that benefits the plot of these shows, having that in there. Yeah, we all know it's gratuitous sex. They put it in there to attract people, right? But now they're doing it with the gay community as well, the lesbian community, the whole bit. And I'm thinking, why? Why do we need any of that on any level and from any group? Why do we need to see that? I'm not a prude, but what does it do to enhance the plot? It's not. It's a selling feature, right, for the show. That's why they do it. So we have become normal. We're doing what everybody else does. It's on TV. Nobody gets too upset about it or upset. The only ones that do are the very far Christian right. Maybe a Muslim or two. I don't know. Out there, whatever. Mormon. But for the most part, no. So we go to Uxbridge Gay Pride. Small community, yes. But nobody cares anymore. We're not special anymore. And that's just fine. That's what we wanted. But some people don't in the community with it all. I mean, do we have any more battles to fight? Well, the same battles that people in the straight community have to fight when it comes to discrimination. Women are still not treated equal to men in the workforce and other areas. There is still racial tension. There is still bigotry. There's still discrimination to all kinds of different groups, various ethnic backgrounds, people with physical disabilities or whatever, there's still all that stuff is still going on. So it's still going to go on for us too. It's never going to be a perfect world. But I just don't get it. Why? I don't think we need to worry about it. It's what we always wanted, to be treated like everybody else. So I don't know. So what are people saying here? Barb says, sounds like someone thought this idea up Friday night. Possibly.
Well, we were a long time ago. Durham Pride started. Yeah. We were on one of the first committees of that, and it was a bit of an effort to do, and it ended up just being a picnic, and we had hamburgers, hot dogs.
Yeah.
And but
it did grow.
It did grow
over the years.
We didn't end up doing the second year because there was too much
there were politics
tension between the groups that were doing it. So
which often happens in any group.
Yeah, and I that's part of the problem, is that one person wants to do one thing, another person wants to do another thing, and trying to get that all coordinated can be kind of difficult at times.
Yeah. So, like Connie says, or let's see, Lucy says definitely not a style. Yep. Connie says not a lifestyle. My mom asked my sister and asked which one of us were the man. Laugh out loud. It's just a lack of knowledge. Down here in Florida, the kids can't say the word gay in schools. Yeah, I know all about that. I follow some different podcasts for the LGBTQ community, and sorry if I've left out some letters, because it's really hard these days to remember all the letters that go into that. Yeah, and it's the same thing in the gay community. People want to, it always comes around to which one of us is the wife, which one of us is the woman. Neither. I'm a man. I enjoy being one. Thank you very much. With it, I'm not sure about Walter, but whatever. Sewing with Luann says, I once told, oh, you live a gay lifestyle, after a friend found out I was gay. Yeah, this word lifestyle.
Yeah, it makes us look like we're doing something different than everybody else. And other than the fact I'm living with Steve, I still go to the grocery store. I still buy stuff. Yeah. I still wear pants. I still do everything I used to do. The only difference is I live with Steve. So
yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's not, lifestyle suggests choice. There is no choice involved in this.
Yeah, I did try to date women when I was younger and stuff like that. Try to follow what was considered normal, and
because we were socialized for that.
But that just didn't work for me. So
you were just smarter. That was what it was. Luane says, have you seen the YouTube video of the high school gay class president who was told he could not say gay in his graduation speech, so switched it to I have curly hair? No, I don't think I've seen that one, but yeah, but the point is, yeah. Lucy says Bridgerton, they have no plot.
Teresa says Bridgestone.
Bridgestone.
I think that might have been what do you call it, autocorrect.
Oh yeah, it could have been, yeah. And Colleen says, I love what I call the yucky stuff. I don't care who's involved. Yeah, I don't see the point of why they need to do that. But, there's something else, just as an aside here, that we've noticed a lot in programs we've been watching. At least, count the number of times someone throws up in whatever you're watching. They keep throwing up.
Not when they have
just like there's some part somebody's throwing up for one reason or another in something. It's like,
I think they've discovered the new way to make it look real. So
yeah, well, I don't need to see somebody throwing up really, but I just it was an observation. I said to Walter one night, why is it that every show we watch someone throws up on it? That's what it's like. Could be a drinking game, I guess. Derek says, I give a lecture each year comparing male-female anatomy and physiology. I have to be so careful with language, etc. these days, as no matter how hard I try, someone always takes offense at something. Well, yeah, welcome to our country. Yeah, everybody is PC, and I don't mean progressive conservative. I mean politically correct. And if you say one thing and that goes against that, you're going to get it in the throat for sure. Everybody's just too sensitive, I think. Luann says in the prequel Queen Charlotte, they show the two footmen we all know is together, but in the end, but end up part at the end. Yeah, I know that because I watched that. But you want to know something? How things have changed. If you were a regular watcher of Downton Abbey, Downton Abbey has a character that is gay, but they downplay it. They suggest it the whole bit. He's the footman. He starts out as footman. He ends up by the end of the series being the head butler and everything like that. And he does eventually connect with somebody else, kind of a thing. But they downplayed in that one. But in Bridgerton, oh no, there's no downplaying it. There it is. It's right in your face, kind of a thing. And I think because of the time periods, and what I mean in the time when the shows were created, it just, even though it's not that many years between them, it's still enough just to show you how fast things are changing with all of this. Southern Hater says, taking offense, ID the in thing to do. Attention seekers. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Some of these ones, they get out there, attention seekers. They're Karens. Sorry, anybody here a Karen? Angel says, PC has taken a turn for the worse. Too many people get offended over nothing. Yep. Can't type fat fingers. Oh, okay. Well, we got it anyways, Southern. Yeah, I think so. People really have no sense of humor about things, it seems. Everybody gets really uptight. Take a look, how we talked a few weeks ago about that app on the phone, Neighbors.
Next door.
Or Next Door. I always get the name. I don't know. Busybodies, what it should be called. Somebody the other day on there was going, hey, there's a whole bunch of cop cars going down the street, and they've got their sirens going. Anybody know what's happening? What's going on? I need to know. Tell me. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Somebody wrote what? One guy wrote...
Well, a bunch of police officers doing police work.
Yes. And another one wrote, they're out looking for busybodies.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. Like, really? Is your life that boring that this is excitement for you? Like, you hear sirens go off all the time, but yeah. But there you are, People get all upset over nothing anymore. You can't look at somebody sideways. And, you may not even be looking at them. You looking at me? You looking at me? Like, yes, you're funny. But then they come up and they'll hit you or pull a gun and shoot you. So, what are you going to do about that? Much. But anyways, I just thought that was kind of this observation that from going to this Uxbridge gay pride thing. And then, it makes you even question whether we need to do that. But, it's a party, I guess.
Well, I guess maybe somebody, the organizers, felt that they needed to do that, or there was a need to do that in that area. But judging by the turnout, it obviously didn't seem to.
It didn't seem to, attract anybody. And I don't think it was because people were in the closet and didn't want to be seen in public because of that. I think we're over that now, pretty much. Maybe for some people they're not, but I don't think that was it. I think it was one, small community, and two, I don't think anybody really cared. I mean, basically, we didn't go up because we wanted to support them necessarily. We just wanted
like I said, I think there was a group of people that felt there was a need, and to have this, and there wasn't the
there wasn't
the participation that they expected,
which maybe explain why there wasn't a vendor selling hot dogs.
Yeah,
because they probably couldn't afford them, or maybe nobody figured they'd make any money from it. So anyways, we had a nice little lunch out in downtown Uxbridge. Had never really been downtown Uxbridge. Now I know why. But yeah, I was going to do a video. Not worth it. You didn't miss anything. So yeah. Nadia's here. Hi, Nadia. Yeah, and Luann says, all in the family. Public outcry instead. Yeah, all in the family. When that show hit the airwaves in 1971, I think that's the year it came out. It was almost pulled from the air. It was just considered too radical. I remember my grandmother watching. She thought it was hilarious. She loved it when they called what was his name in it, the actor that played Michael, Meathead. She thought that was hilarious. That was her phrase for a good month and a half afterwards. Everybody was a meathead. She liked that. Did you go to the quilt store? Yes, Karen, we did go to the quilt store.
We were on our way out. We happened to be on the road that the quilt store was on, and Steve said, "Let's stop."
I thought, well, I'm here. Might as well go in. Well, it's an okay quilt store, except that the prices are at the high end of the scale, and they have a lot of old lady fabric. In fact, it's all old.
They have a lot of vintage fabric, or
yeah,
not vintage, like brand
Depression,
new,
30s
brand
fabric.
new vintage fabric.
Yeah, look,
country
reproductions.
country style, I guess.
Yeah, country style reproduction. Depression era, that kind of stuff, which isn't my taste. Also, like I said, their prices are on the higher end of things. Not horribly, but there it is. They have lots and lots of kits they put together, and I saw some I kind of liked, but I'm leery about it because I've bought a couple of kits from them in the past, and yeah, they shortchange on the fabric in the kit. I've had this discussion before on here about that kind of thing. So not really spending $50 on a kit for a table runner if I don't have enough fabric in there. So yeah, I did buy some stuff. This was Walter's fault because he's an enabler. He goes, "Oh, look at this is Christmas fabric. This would make good background fabric on it. Haven't seen that one before." Yep. I'm going to show.
No, I was thinking more that you were looking for backing fabric. That was like Christmas Day. Yeah.
I found some.
Ultimate Sewing, yeah.
I didn't need any more of it.
Okay.
But then you showed me that, and I went, yeah, I have to have that. So I bought 2 meters of that, and they were having a sale. There were signs here and there in spots. They considered it summer fabric. They had it 30% off. Well, like I said, most of their fabric looks like something.
It depends on what your style is. Like Karen says, well, if I purchase from them online, good to know it's not worth the trip. They do have a lot of selection, but a lot of it is not very.
If you like
modern.
Lori Holt, okay, Lori Holt style, which I don't. It's not my style. If you like Lori Holt, you'd love it. You'd absolutely love the store because it's all that kind of vintage, country farm sort of Depression era sort of fabric in its look. The summer fabric though they had, I did buy 2 meters of one. It was blue, and it didn't look like old lady fabric. Sorry, I call it old lady. I guess I'm not being PC. Let's just say mature lady fabric. Okay. I mean old lady, but anyways, that kind of thing. But I didn't see anything else there that I wanted, really. I didn't really need
I looked
anything,
around.
but
I didn't really see anything that sort of popped out at me. In fact, I think there's a selection of what I would consider more modern fabric or novelty fabrics seem to be lacking.
Yeah. Well, they don't really have modern in there.
No.
They did have some of the O Canada line from Northcott, but they didn't have much of it. And I had all that anyway. So, yeah.
The name of the store is the Quilter's Cupboard.
Quilter's Cupboard, yeah.
And it's in Uxbridge.
It's in Uxbridge, the little place we were at in our area. Yeah, Derek says there are some 80s UK sitcoms you realize would never get broadcast on mainstream channels these days, and you realize things that went over our heads as kids watching it with our parents. Yeah, and the thing too is the television programs that we get to see over here that come from the UK have always been a little bit more risque than North American television until like maybe recently.
Yeah, I know. Like they used to have a play. What was it? Man About the House.
Yeah.
In UK, and they had they changed it to Three's Company in the US, and they toned it down a lot.
They toned it down a lot because we've seen both versions of it. And I find the UK stuff is much more interesting to watch. And their humor, the humor for the UK is much more, it's stuff that they won't say on North American television.
Mainstream North American television, not streaming.
Not the streaming services. They seem to get away with everything. Again, Colleen says, Yes, Derek, I remember some of those, but they were the rage and cutting edge at the time, so export to Canada. Are you being served? And Red Dwarf always funny to me. Yeah, I always loved being served. Mrs. Slocum's pussies, pussy, and that was always like. And of course, they were using it in the you know the dirty way, kind of a thing. But it was always good for a laugh. Yeah, I really like that show. Are you being served? But anyways, yeah. So we've become very politically correct, but I don't know. Will we ever go the other way? That's why I like Australia. The Australians aren't so hung up about this kind of stuff. They're much more genuine, I think, in what they have to say about things. And they're not being nasty or cruel about it. They're just being kind of the way we used to be back in the 70s, kind of a deal. Um,
Oh yeah, Benny Hill and on the buses.
oh, yeah, Benny Hill. Oh, yeah, that would not go over today. Now, I mean, he was always chasing after the girls on there and patting their rear ends and making
Well,
lewd
even
comments.
even the Little Britain series was being rebroadcast in the U.S. and places, and it has since been pulled because it's got too many racial stuff in it and um, too over the top sexual stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, Connie says, yeah, we watch more UK shows like emergency shows that injuries now matter, no matter how bad. Yeah. Uh, Luann says, we got Benny Hill, but he was on late at night after kids were to bed. Yeah, yeah, true. Um, oh, the Carry On series, yeah, the films, yeah, they were always um,
Suggestive.
very suggestive, like on that. They just almost tipped over to the line on that. Yeah, those were the days
I
of
never
great time.
watched the Red
I
Dwarf.
never watched Red Dwarf either. I know what it was. I just never ever watched it. Even has a cat. Yeah, Mrs. Brown. Oh yeah, yeah. We watched a lot of Mrs. Brown, too. And actually, though, Mrs. Brown, though, you could see how they were cleaning things up a little bit because, um, although it had some things that were a little bit more in your face, it's not the same as like the Benny Hill or some of those ones on it. It's more toned down on that. So I guess all that kind of thing has hit Britain as well as it here in North America. So yeah. But, if you have a streaming service, they don't seem to play by the same rules. So I don't know. But anyways, now something else that I wanted to kind of bring up, and I've mentioned this before, but it will make my life a little easier, make our lives a little easier, and probably get a response from us in the comment section. I don't know how to put this any other way. You have to take into consideration we don't understand what you're writing. I have had some comments on there, and I don't know what you're asking. Also, please, on my regular videos, please listen to what I say about products. I've had people ask me, oh, what was the name of that pattern? Oh, what was the name of that fabric? If I know the name of it, I usually say it on there more than once. If I know where you can find it, I will try to link it in the show notes. But I have people just say, oh, what was the name? And I get these ones, what was the name of that red and blue table runner? What red and blue table runner? Are you even talking about the episode you've written the comment on or some other episode? Like, I'll tell you right now, I don't remember any of the episodes I have up there. I hardly remember. I might post on a Tuesday at Quilter today. I don't remember what's on there. Okay? I'm just telling you. I plan a week ahead for everything, and I don't remember. And to be honest, I'm not going to go back and review my own videos to find out the answer to that. Also, there's this wonderful device out there called Google. Try it sometime. It's amazing what you can find on there. But I need context, is what I'm saying. I need context. I need detailed context about what you're asking me because I can't answer. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. And to be honest, I don't have the time to second guess you or to write back to you and go, well, what do you mean by this? Did you mean this or did you mean that or whatever? And when I have done that, it sometimes gets worse. I get another back. Yeah, That's what, no, I said, yeah, I mean, that's what I get. Yeah. Yeah, what? Did you mean when I said this, is that what you mean? Or was it this or that? I gave you a choice. Tell me which one, please. I can't read your mind. So I want to respond, okay? But I can't respond to something that I don't understand. And spelling and grammar count. Because I've had some people write some things that it's like a foreign language. I have no, and it's not spell checker. Proofread, people. That's the English teacher in me coming out. Proofread what you have written, because again, if I can't figure out what you've written, I can't answer it. Okay? It's just simple like that. I'd really appreciate it, because I don't want to ignore you. I want to answer. If I can, I will. But I need to understand what you're talking about. It really helps. Derek says, but our parents didn't care. My parents were strict, but still had no issue with us watching all these. They just thought we'd use our common sense and know when stuff is appropriate or not. Liberal parents. Oh, Monty Python, yeah. I never really found Monty Python that funny. Some things, yes. Monty Python is best viewed after you've had a few wobbly pops. Then it's hilarious through it all. Yeah. Unless you're my sister. She quotes Monty Python on a regular basis. Angel says, what? You don't have time to answer 9K subscribers every question? How dare you have a life? Yes, I know, Angel. Just call me a rebel without a cause. Yeah. Oh, thank you, GMB. They love us. Oh, you love us. I feel like Sally Fields now. Oh, you love me. You really, really love me. But whatever. So anyways, yeah, bottom line, if you want us to comment, if you got a question, you want us to answer it, make sure we understand the question. Okay? Now there might be times when we don't have an answer, but I'll let you know about that too. Okay, so anyways, I think it's time to finish. So thanks everybody for joining us today. Any parting words from the wise wisdom of Walter right now? That's an alliteration.
Not really.
Of course not. I wouldn't have expected anything less.
You asking me to wake me up now?
As I always say, pick a finger, I'll make a suggestion. Okay, so thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and everything. I hope nobody's burning up in that. And if you are, okay, our thoughts are with you and hope that you get through this okay and whatnot. And have a great week. And we'll see you next week for sure. Bye for now. Bye.